Thanks for tuning back in. I'm Tommy Campbell, still bald, still in my basement, and still loving the fallout after the Party of Family Values dropped a hat trick of shame this week with new court filings placing Congressman Matt Gaetz at a 2017 House party that is the center of a sex scandal. Bear-eating brainworms RFK Jr. swapped LD's TV wife for an extramarital relationship with Olivia Nuzzi. Bit jealous of that one, not gonna lie. And North Carolina's Mark Robinson's inflammatory comments on porn sites were exposed. This is all an easy 5 dripping Giulianis on the fail scale. I hope Mark gets shown the door and is forced to install Mike Johnson's software on his computer. Let the two suffer each other. Johnson's gonna get hammered with so many accountability notifications he'll have to resign just to keep up with them. Win-win. Mark Robinson's comments were like too much to talk about here. Calling himself a black Nazi and that slavery is not bad and some people need to be slaves were the tamest things he had going. Yes, I'm surprised that there's even comments on these sites like, don't you want to keep your hands off the keyboard? Isn't that the point? Back in the DVD and VHS days, I never felt the need to weigh in on Mad Jack Beyond Thunderbone. I was just hoping my parents didn't come home. Mark Robinson had the big up from Don Jr. and the enthusiastic endorsement from Trump, who thought he was better than Martin Luther King Jr. But Trump has never made good choices. He's never actually made good anything.
They even said,
yeah,
but all of them, and they didn't correct her once, and they corrected me everything I said practically, and I think 9 times or 11 times, and the audience was absolutely, they went crazy. And the real, I thought it was, I walked off, I said, that was a great debate. I love
3 cameras and a set of moderators are not an audience. I find his commitment to lying about crowds hilarious. I mean, he has jumped the shark now. This is just so ridiculous. Like, the only people that were there were the ones that were working. They were paid to be there. They were doing a job. Was Kamala, was she part of the audience too? It is pouring MAGA tears. I played in 35 countries for over 2 decades, but most days you'll find me here. Thanks for taking in this bald comedian's take on things. Please join the best subscribers on YouTube while I blast the latest and stupid and more.
I've just been told that crazy Kamala accepted fake news CNN's invitation to have another debate. I would read my third wife's stupid new book before I bigly lose to Kamala again.
This is really cool.
For the first time, sworn testimony has been referenced in public court filings alleging that Congressman Matt Gaetz attended one of the drug-fueled parties tied to the underage sex scandal. The documents cite sealed affidavits from 3 eyewitness testimonies, and the reason these are made public is because Gaetz' friend and Florida real estate developer and lobbyist Chris Dorworth had tried to bury his involvement with a civil lawsuit, but after missing key dates involving his secrecy requests, defense lawyers seeking to recover their attorney fees motioned for the depositions to be made public. The discovery taken in this case to date reflects that on Saturday, July 15, 2017, Dorworth hosted a party at his residence with the following guests present: AB, KM, BG, Matt Gaetz, lawyers wrote in the filing, also listing several others. The 17-year-old girl was listed first, identified only as AB. The defense lawyers filed testimonies from those 3 women who the attorneys say placed Gaetz at Chris Dorworth's house that night. Chris Dorworth has denied Matt was at the party, but a former girlfriend of Matt Gaetz that was there provided testimony the lawyers say rebuts Dorworth's claims that he was not there. Court filings reveal that a hired digital forensic examiner identified Gaetz' number, and the two had text back and forth 30 times that day, and then Gaetz phoned Dorworth twice in the hours before the party. Gaetz' former girlfriend is identified in the document as BG, and she confirmed AB's presence at the party under penalty of perjury. This was Gaetz 3 years ago.
They're saying there is a 17-year-old girl who you had a relationship with. Is that true? And who are they? Who is this girl? What are they talking about, the New York Times?
The person doesn't exist. I have not had a relationship with a 17-year-old. That is totally false. The allegation, as I read it in the New York Times, is that I've traveled with some 17-year-old in some relationship. That is false, and records will bear that out to be false.
Cross state lines, traveled. Matt Gaetz' best friend and former wingman, Joel Greenberg, was indicted on 33 counts. Court documents say Greenberg was engaged in sugar daddy relationships. in a cash-for-sex ring. Joel is serving an 11-year sentence for sex trafficking and fraud. Gaetz and Greenberg shared Venmo connections with at least 2 women who received payments. The 17-year-old that led to Greenberg's sex trafficking charge is the same 17-year-old investigators have connected to Gaetz. That is the AB in the new documents. Gaetz has denied allegations that he ever did this with a minor or participated in human trafficking, even though his best friend went to jail for this. The Department of Justice informed Gaetz it would not be criminally charging him over the allegations, but a House Ethics Committee investigation remains open. And these documents, they could be the end for Gaetz. I just wish Matt hadn't pumped his head full of all that Botox for the Joel Osteen melted candle look, because I would love to see the look on his face when he knows he's done for.
We want paper ballots hand counted, like all the other countries. 132 of them have. Okay? The last one being Argentina a year ago that easily said, you know what? One judge said, we're going to get rid of these machines. They did it in 4 months. No big deal. You know, and they got a new president and they, you know, and it was elected by the people instead of selected by the deep state, communist, globalists, the people, the evil that's out there. So I would hope, that no matter what happens, how much, if they steal it enough, obviously we're going to have all this in place, and they're going to get these machines. Are going to open them up like can openers. We're going to open them up and say, here's what really happened, because they're going to have to steal 10 million more votes than they did in the 2020 election, where they stole 15 million.
I just love that he's still raging against the machines and saying he's going to open them up like can openers. I mean, it's just perfect. You don't open a can opener. You open things with the can opener, Mike. Great work. Good to see your dyed brown mustache has returned because nobody recognized you without it. He was like a ghost. Who was that man shouting at the young child? I have no idea.
Have you ever been fired, like in a regular job?
Well, I went to work for my father out of school, and he was a tough guy, very tough. But he liked the job I did, so I have never experienced being fired. Fired a lot of people on The Apprentice, but fired a lot of people. But
I was a daddy's boy, so I was never fired. Well, I mean, like, if you've only worked with your father, then we're not shocked that you never got canned, but you were fired. And I think she said it best, and you did not like it.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
I make this show 100% on my own thanks to you. If you love what I do, drop me a super thanks, consider leaving me a PayPal tip, or hit the join button to support what I do here. Now, this photo has gone viral thanks to Trump and MAGA running wild with it. It's fake, doctored from an image that was taken at a 2001 charity event in Los Angeles where she was with Montel Williams, that's Montel, and his daughter. Did you know she used to be with him? I remember watching his show after school on the rare day I didn't have to go straight to work, and I wasn't on one of these shows. And when I say that, I have a lot of family in New York, and I used to visit my sister there, and while she was at work, I would kill time by going to shows like Sally Jesse Raphael and Maury Povich, because they would feed you free pizza, and I thought it was hilarious. But I would always get the mic shoved in my face to weigh in on what they were talking about, and yeah, that was me with some pretty crazy hair, and that was legit the episode. Yeah. Meanwhile, in Ted Cruz's home province of Alberta, Canada, in the city of Fort Saskatchewan, I get that's confusing because Saskatchewan is also a province, but this is a city in Alberta, and their mayor, Gail Katcher, is giving off major Kristi Noem vibes.
When it comes to feral cats, it would be cruel to say, but it would be interesting that if people could deal with them themselves, like I'm going to say in the old days when you lived on the farm. Now be careful, because when you lived on the farm, if there was cats, they threw them in a bag and threw them in the river, or they just put them on the exhaust pipes. So that's how it's okay. I grew up on a farm. I knew what happened back then, and there wasn't a lot of emotion tied to it. People just dealt with cats that showed up unwanted. So for all the city people, that's the reality of living on a farm. Just FYI. And I hope that doesn't get captured anywhere as being the mean mayor.
Okay, that's the reality of your farm and crazy family. And it's wild that she ends with, and I hope this doesn't get captured, because it did. Cats in bags in rivers? She's chuckling about this. Put cats on exhaust pipes. How does that even work? Okay, don't tell me. Animal rights groups have condemned her comments and noted that anyone who took the actions described could be charged under the Criminal Code of Canada and/or under the Animal Protection Act. The Humane Society notes decades of progress in animal welfare have provided effective, non-lethal solutions such as trap, neuter, return, which helps manage feral cat populations responsibly and humanely. PETA also weighed in, noting everyone can help keep cats safe by keeping them indoors, and shelters can do their part by always taking in cats in need. Whether it's J.D. Vance, Trump, Noam, or Catcher, this surge in politicians disparaging pet owners, using pets as a tool to create fear and unrest, or boasting about animal cruelty is awful. And if you like what they're pushing, then odds are you're awful too. I have plenty of dog and cat lovers here, and members can even request an emoji of their pet that everyone can use in the comments, like this one. So if you are a member and you have a pet, let me know, and I'll put it in the queue.
Well, if Kamala Harris waves the wand illegally and says these people are now here legally, I'm still going to call them an illegal alien. An illegal action from Kamala Harris does not make an alien legal. That is not how this works.
You can't just say something's illegal because you disagree with it because you don't believe in it. A Mormon may not drink, but that doesn't mean they think it's illegal to have a beer. Congress established TPS as part of the Immigration Act of 1990 that was signed into law by George H.W. Bush to grant the executive branch power to issue the status at its discretion on a categorical basis. TPS provides humanitarian relief to citizens whose countries were suffering from natural disasters, protracted unrest, or conflict. All these countries have TPS status. There is no magic wand. Everything about this is fundamentally legal.
Alex here, still in the bunker with Marjorie. Again, good dude. I'm super happy she's here to help me through this rough time as I try to hide my money from the courts and my wife. I wish this was a deep state globalist conspiracy, but the truth is, on September 9th, the 9th of September, I filed for divorce from my second wife, Erica Wolf Jones. Honestly, I should have done this back when she hit me with the shampoo bottle. I mean, I wish I could run away from the truth. But the truth is, she actually beat me with finesse, bonked me with head and shoulders so badly that I actually called 911 emergency services over the ordeal. This is like public knowledge. It is my life. I'm a big man. When I have a problem, I do the alpha thing and contact the authorities, not my senator's office. I can't find my dog. Better get JD on the phone. Oh, yeah, that Ohio stuff is crazy. Keeps me up at night. Not as much as the stuff I get from Don Jr. I reached out to Lauren Boebert because I'm concerned about her pet hamster Mountain Dew winding up in a taco or like whatever they use. But she assured me her hamster is safe on the trampoline with the G.I. Joe parachute and her boys, and that she's in Colorado, not Ohio. So I've had a breakup, and Erica, she's like a kind of hot yoga instructor. That's like stretching with animal names and foreign words. I don't get it. That's why I connect with Marjorie. She's into that like CrossFit stuff that actually prepares you if a war breaks out and you have to escape across the playground. I'm actually happy to break it off with the wolf and spend more time with the dog. The bounty hunter lookalike, blonde meat swamp. I didn't even like put up a set of one of those monkey bars. I did. Got it on Amazon. Monkey bars, I got them run down the hallway. So I can just like watch my sweaty Georgia gremlin destroy her joints without the fear of getting hit with her mane and tail. But if I see so much as a nanoparticle of those appendages that look like the kind of thing RFK Jr. scraped off the road, we are talking 7 mismatched digits that look like someone took a hammer to a tray of out-of-date chipolatas and then duct taped them to a piece of decaying whale flesh they scooped off the roof of Bobby's minivan. Because what is the rule, MTG?
The socks stay on.
The socks stay on.
Nothing but lies. We see though you. MAGA tears. I would love to Kamala try and debate Trump without knowing the answers in advance. MAGA tears. The residents of Springfield know the facts. Pets are disappearing every day. MAGA tears. But this is a city in Alberta, and their mayor,
and then duct tape them to a piece of decaying. I can't find my dog. Better get JD on the phone.
Hated constantly with Matt Gaetz.
Yeah. That hamster Mountain Dew winding up in like a taco or whatever it is they use to enclose their meat in the Haiti, whatever it's called.
I just wish Matt hadn't pumped his head full of Botox for that Joel Osteen melted candle look. Oh, gosh.
It actually prepares you if war breaks out, and it will, brother, and you might have to escape across the playground, and you will be trained.
Say hello in the comments, find my stand-up on Spotify, streamed by millions, and add me on Facebook and Instagram. It all helps. Be cool, be kind, take care.